Hey, everybody, it's John Harbaugh.
Hey, John,
It's always good to be out with the Philadelphia media. You know, it's always so upbeat and good and happy.
John, this is Paul Domwich. How you doing?
Good, Paul. How you doing, man?
Hey, John, I wanted to take you back to 2012. I remember the morning after you won the Super Bowl, talking to you about how you defended Kaepernick, and you had mentioned that you guys hit him every time you got a chance in that game, and I mean, that was your strategy as far as dissuading him from running with the ball. 6 years later, you draft Lamar, and the rest is kind of history. What changed in your thinking over those years as far as believing you could win with that kind of quarterback, or is it just that Lamar is such a unique individual?
Right. Well, I don't think anything really changed. I mean, as I think back, you're competing in that stage, and you had to stop the quarterback. So you devise a plan, and we try to be aggressive with it at the time. And, we won the game, but I don't know that it really worked. Paul, you go back and look at it, man, we weren't – that second half, I mean, we didn't stop them really at all until the end of the game, thank God. So they were up and down the field on us. So I don't know, maybe that changed my thinking, and we realized how much of a threat those guys are. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it. We kind of talked about it a lot, about Lamar and the thinking behind it, but I just feel like, just generally speaking, talent is talent, skills are skills, and ability is really valuable. So you never want to, I don't think, dismiss different types of talents and say it's not something that can fit. Whether it's in football or any other walk of life, just you look at people and you say, well, what can they do? What are their abilities, and see if you can find a way to use them and utilize them.
Mm-hmm.
That's just generally. I mean, obviously the quarterback that can throw and run and do some other things is hard to defend.
Yeah. Thanks, John.
Hey, John, on the topic of Lamar, the Eagles are trying to do something similar to what you were doing in the early part of 2018, which is get Jalen Hurts some snaps while also kind of keeping Carson Wentz as the starting quarterback. How do you balance that as a coach between getting those two things accomplished? Or in 2018, how did you accomplish that?
Well, I think it was a little even more challenging for us in 18 than the Eagles, because it kind of fits them a little better right now as we study their offense. Carson can do a lot of that stuff anyway. He's good at the quarterback-driven stuff. He can run the ball. Joe wasn't doing any of that. That was a whole different deal. Joe was strictly drop-back, play-action type guy. So I feel like it fits what they're doing really well. It's kind of natural for them. They can run the quote unquote quarterback driven plays with both quarterbacks, and I'm sure they're going to continue to expand upon that.
Hey, John, I wanted to ask you about Jihad. He's going to be coming back to his hometown this week. How's his season been going, and what can you tell me about him?
He's been doing great. I'll tell you, Jihad Ward is just one of my favorite players. He plays ridiculously hard. He's really just a kind of down to earth, straightforward guy who loves football. He works. When we come in on Monday morning after we play, he's the first guy in the weight room. I'm in there. I got to tell you, I'm in there first. But he's in there like right after me, and that's pretty impressive for a guy that just played all those snaps, because all I did was stand on the sideline and watch. So he's just a real special guy. He really fits our personality as a team. Good family man. We're really blessed to have him on board here.
Hey, John,
if I can ask you about, go ahead.
John, in this strange season, obviously, it's been a little different going on the road. Eagles are going to have a few fans for the first time. How have you seen it? You guys have had so much success on the road in general, I think 8 straight. How much easier is it when you don't have 70,000 screaming fans?
It's definitely easier to communicate, but I'll say I don't know if it's really any kind of a less of a disadvantage in the end, because it's really strange. I mean, it's just really strange in these stadiums when you go in there. We were in Houston and we were in Washington, and man, it's just so quiet. It's just a different thing, I think, for both teams. So maybe it's a little bit of an equalizer in terms of both teams have to deal with the quiet, but it's been very different. I really don't know how to how to put a value on it, but I know it's been very different.
Hey, John, if I could ask you about another guy who's local for us, and Nick Boyle. You guys obviously use 2 tight end sets quite a bit and everything. How has Nick kind of helped you guys offensively, and what are his strengths?
Right. Well, you asked me about 2 of my favorite guys there, because Nick's probably is another huge favorite. He's a guy we saw coming out of Delaware. Big, strong guy. I think he was very underrated coming out of the draft. His skill set was I thought it was caricatured a little bit. Sometimes it still is. He's a well-rounded tight end. He's a great blocker. He does it in line. He also does it on the move. And he's also very effective in the pass game, play action and drop back pass. He's very underrated as a pass catcher and a route runner. And this guy is a big, strong guy. He loves football. Another guy that lives in the weight room too. Good family guy. I would say we're built around. In many ways, we're built around Nick, and I know that sounds kind of probably weird to say, but there's some truth to it. I think the people that would study us and try to defend us would probably agree with that.
Hey, John, there's different team building philosophies when it comes to investment in the linebacker position. Some teams devaluing it maybe a little bit because of all the sub packages that are getting run in the modern day NFL. Baltimore obviously has a unique history with their linebacker play. What kind of philosophy have you come to over your years about the importance of the linebacker position?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's very important when we haven't had good linebackers, or the kind of linebackers you're talking about. We have definitely struggled to overcome that on defense, so it's very important. Also, at the same time, as far as the value that you put on them and the philosophy, I think you make a good point. There's a lot of different ways of looking at it, but for us, it's kind of been, we've kind of played the shots as they've come. I think you pay the player more than you pay the position if you can afford it. So Ray Lewis was not a hard guy to pay. And we tried to pay C.J. Mosley, but someone paid him way more. So when we've had the opportunity to pay the linebackers and we've been able to keep them, we've been willing to do that. It hasn't had to do that quite all that often. We're lucky right now. We've got a bunch of young guys in there that are, so that won't really be an issue for us for a couple of years. But, I do see the dilemma on that you're talking about.
As a follow-up on the linebackers, John, when the Eagles released L.J. Fort last year and you picked him up, did you expect him to have this type of contribution?
Well, yeah, he's just kind of a really good fit for us. I think players fit different teams different ways. We'd played against L.J. a lot when he was in Pittsburgh, so we kind of knew him as an opponent. And he has so much value as a versatile player. It's just been a real plus for us. We're very, very, very fortunate to have him on board.
Hey, John, obviously your history here as a special teams guy is well known, but what over your years in Baltimore, what kind of luxury has it been to have Justin Tucker and a kicker at that level?
Wow, that's a great point. I mean, just I don't even know if I could quantify it. It's something that you don't have to worry about all the time, and you've got a heck of a kicker there in Philadelphia as well, who we have great respect for. But Tuck is, he's probably been the best, in the time he's been in the league. And the thing I like about him and Sam Cook, who's going to play, going to end up after this game having the most career starts in the history of the Ravens, and then Morgan Cox, our snapper. When you've got those three guys and your special teams, I think like Philly's done a good job over the years of having, all the way back to, when I was there. That's one thing you don't want to have to worry about. And I don't think you can have great special teams without having those positions sewed up.